What's up, guys? It's Bo here again, and welcome to another Bo Junior vlog, right? Hope you're feeling good. In this entry, I want to talk to you guys. I wanted to do somewhat of a motivational video. I don't know how motivational it'll actually turn out, but what I want to talk about today is basically that you should never give up, right? This is kind of in line with the videos I've done pretty recently about kind of being brave and pursuing success, pursuing a life of freedom and everything like that. But in general, it basically encompasses anything in, the overarching process in life where you basically come into your own, right? And this is a journey that many people miss the boat on, right? Some people kind of go into this life of security, like this kind of preordained path that many people are kind of sold in life by, the school system, by media, where you just kind of, you get a good education, you get a good job, and you start a family, basically, and you just kind of live out your days in relative kind of stability. There are many people who either go into it fully consciously, so like they this is the path that they want. They don't want to fuck around, they don't want to fuck around with a life of freedom or anything like that. They just want to go on that path. There are also the people who went into a rebellious phase, had a rebellious phase, and decided that actually a life of stability is actually what I wanted, right? And that's viable. That might even happen to me one day. As bitter as I would be, if that were the case, but it might happen. But in general, I think a lot of people also kind of get shoehorned into the stability role because they kind of never had, I guess you could say, the courage, the bravery to kind of fully launch into what they want to do in life, right? Whether that be, going in, pursuing a life of freedom, in the sense of financial freedom, or career freedom, or lifestyle freedom, that kind of thing. Just anything, that you have a passion towards and you have a vision for. Unfortunately, not all of us make it, right? But I've been thinking a lot about that recently, myself being in that situation. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really rocky journey. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have terrible fucking days. And, you just beat yourself up about it, right? But, one thing I've realized is that, there are a lot of people in the self-help industry, you could say, the personal development industry, or, you watch any motivational video, for example, I'm just throwing this out there, this isn't, a specifically honed example, but, Tony Robbins, that kind of thing, and, his general message is, fucking do it now, fucking... go on your path and no excuses, hold yourself to a high standard, right? That's one of his teachings. And, that's kind of true, because from the perspective of, you have a kind of limited lifespan here, right? You could view it like that. And I've used this perspective, right? In my previous videos where, you have one life as yourself, and the time is ticking, right? You're going to die one day. And if you don't, buck up now, then maybe it will never happen, right? And that is a very, very possibility, right? But this perspective can also be counterproductive, in that it can kind of deter you from actually pursuing your dreams, as it were. It can actually get to the point where you actually say, where you're actually I don't know if it's the fear of it basically keeps you from taking action or whatever it is, right? But the perspective that I want to offer you today is that you should never give up, because giving up is the ultimate failure, right? There might be people who say to you, trying and failing is worse than never trying in the first place, because, you kind of wasted your opportunity. But, I don't necessarily agree with that at all. What I do believe in is that, like, you know, giving up is the point at which you fail, right? Failure is not actually failure. Giving up is actual failure, right? But this is the sweet thing about life, right? This is the motivational message I want to provide to you in this entry, which is that giving up does not mean, giving up or failure is never permanent, right? And well, the only thing that you know is going to end permanently is your life, right? You know, no one has ever lived eternally as themselves. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But, you know, like, you realize that like, it doesn't really matter. Like, even to the point that you've given up. Like, so what I just said is giving up is the ultimate failure. But actually, giving up is not the ultimate failure, you know? Even if you do give up, if you make that conscious decision, or like, you know, you have that feeling of like, you know, fuck this, you know, it's not worth it. I'm just not destined for this path. You can still come out from that and still succeed, right? The opportunity is still there. We like to, I guess this is kind of a tool that, you know, people in that kind of industry like to use to kind of motivate the people that they're talking to take action, right? You know, you've got limited time here, like fucking hurry up, otherwise you're gonna be like, you know, a failure basically, you know, it's to get you motivated and fired up to do something. But actually, you know, even, and the kind of message, the underlying message is that like, opportunities are scarce, right? Because scarcity tends to motivate us into action, but it can also paralyze us, like I say. And one realization I had was that opportunities are never scarce, right? You know, spiritual people always say that, you know, we live in an infinite universe, right? Full of, you know, it is limitless, right? There is energy is infinite in this universe, right? And by extension, opportunities are, right? So even if you give up, even if you make that decision to give up, even if you give up 50 times, right? Not just fail, right? Because fail means that you still, you know, you're going to get up and try again. But like when you just resign to failure, to the fact that, you know, you're not going to do it, even if that happens a million times, you know, just, you know, to exaggerate it, you still have the opportunity to do it, right? The only thing stopping you is yourself, ultimately. But, you know, that's not necessarily the message I want to give to you in this entry. It's just that you can have the hope that it doesn't matter even if you give up, right? The goal is not to give up, like, is to keep going, obviously. But, like, even if you give up, you can still make it. You know, that's the fucking mind blow, right? Is that, you know, giving up does not mean that you've given up, right? You know, that you have to give up. You know, you can still keep going, right? And so basically, you know, don't let that, because like, as I said, you know, a lot of people use it as a motivator, but it can also be very damaging to people if they're not in the right space, energetically, you know. It can basically demotivate people from taking action because they're scared, because it's like, if the opportunities are scarce, if you fuck up, then it's gone forever, right? And it paralyzes people from taking action. But like, this perspective is going to motivate you, because now you know that even if you fail and give up, right? You know, make the conscious decision to resign from trying, you can still one day be like, actually, I want to give it another try. And like, that's perfectly fucking fine, you know, regardless of what people say. So, you know, and like, this is amazing for me, you know. Again, you know, you still have to take action. You know, if you don't take action, then you're never going to get there. Like, you can potentially kind of just never get there. But like, who cares? You know, at the same time, who cares? You know, as long as you keep going, and you can use this as motivation for you to keep going. That no matter what happens, even if you fail or give up 100 times, you can still have the choice to keep moving, right? That is, you know, that is fucking amazing, right? So anyway, I hope that was as motivating a perspective for you as it was for me. It definitely stopped myself from beating myself up so much. It's like, you know, I think I've always inherently known this. I think lazy people always, like, they kind of inherently know this. But yeah, you know, it's a good perspective to have. So cool. I hope that was helpful, and I will catch you guys in the next entry. Peace out.